What's up, YouTube? I have been listening to some teachings of the Moorish Science Temple, or people who call themselves Moors. And what attracted me to their teachings is because they make some astounding and incredible claims. For instance, they say that the transatlantic slave trade did not happen as we believed it to be happening, but that black people were already here in this country, and that black people were here for like thousands of years, even before the transatlantic slave trade, and that we were the original Indians. The original Indians were black, and that the Mississippi River is really the Nile River, and that everything we've been taught was basically reversed. You know, their ideals on science, their ideals on religion, their ideals on politics, their ideals on law is incredible and astounding. When I say incredible, I mean it's unbelievable. But I don't necessarily mean that it's not true. That's what incredible means. And how they teach how you really have to study definition of words, and you have to study law. In particular, that's what amazes me about their teachings, what they say about law and how this country was formed. They teach that this is not really a country like we thought it was set up in 1776, that you were taught in school in 1776, to how they came up with the Constitution, that all men have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and all men are born equal, and we're all free and equal. As you know, that was never the case. What they say is, I mean, it probably started out with good intention to be the case, but it wasn't the case. They say that the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, which was supposed to bring black people under equal footing with white people, actually made second-class citizens out of everybody. By you being a second-class citizen, it means you're slaves to the corporation that calls itself the United States, which is the United States is a privately owned corporation governed by the Uniform Commercial Code laws, not the Constitution, but the Uniform Commercial Code law, which governs nation states between the seas. And not only is the United States a privately owned corporation, but a privately owned foreign corporation. I don't know if it's owned by Britain or the Vatican or whoever it's owned by. And when they teach that when you go into a courtroom, you're under Uniform Commercial Code law. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to test this theory because I had an upcoming child support case. And I didn't want to test the theory because not so much that I didn't want to pay more child support. I'm already paying child support and I take good care of my daughter, but they wanted to increase the amount substantially. So according to the informative information that the beautiful sister on here is teaching, she's a Moor, I don't know her name, but they call her the Queen. I mean, she surely is deserving of that title. One of the things that you have to do when you go into court is you have to let the court know your status for the record. When I say let the court know your status, you have to let them know that you're a Moor, so that you can be in your proper status and go in there as a sovereign power and not as a second-class citizen created by the corporation of the United States. Because Moors are protected from these Uniform Commercial Code laws, and they're protected from these statutes, regulations, and ordinance, which are actually policies, not law, but policies of the corporation of the United States. So that's one of the reasons why you let them know who you are what your nationality is and what your status is. So I did that. Another thing is that you have to be careful not to bring yourself under the subjection of their jurisdiction. So when I went to court, which was an administrative court, but they say all courts are governed by this Uniform Commercial Code law. When I went into court, instead of filing a general appearance which subjects you to the jurisdiction, I filed a special appearance to challenge the jurisdiction. And thirdly, I tried to get them to put their status on record. I wanted to see if they were a sovereign power such as myself, because the only people who can enact law against a sovereign power is another sovereign power. If they're not a sovereign power, then they are foreign agents of a corporation who don't have any authority to enact law upon a sovereign power such as a Moor or any other sovereign power. But they never fully established who they were as a nationality or what their status was. So I'm going to try to get them on that point. What else here? Oh yeah. Being that it was under Uniform Commercial Code and child support implies that you have an obligation, there's actually constitutional law that says that in order for there to be an obligation, there has to be a contract. I asked them to produce the contract, which they wouldn't produce a contract. So I'm going to try to get them on appeal on that issue right there. Another issue that I brought up was that since they haven't established their status and haven't produced a contract, there was no standing for either the judge, the mother, the child, or the prosecutor. They had no standing or any claim against me as far as me having an obligation to them. Now I'm speaking in only speaking in legal terms. Morally, yes, I do have an obligation to support my daughter, which I do. But from a legal standpoint, that court has no standing to even adjudicate against me, which the judge insists on doing. And I made it clear that she was wrong for adjudicating against me. She was actually committing a crime under Title 18 of the United States Code. So I just want some feedback on this or your thoughts on this. Peace.